Hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of Diamond Ranch. So as you can see, I made progress here. What I did between paintings was to concentrate on completing the sky and balancing out the values. Then what I really launched into is really trying to define where those buildings were. I thought they were too large, so I shrunk them. And I think that now the sizes of them are working pretty good. In this tape I went ahead and started with the sky and moving down and ran out of time, but started working here in the foreground also. So keep going, use me as a guide, take a look what I'm doing, and I'm sorry I can't do stroke by stroke because I'm trying to fit everything in 3 sessions. But this is a challenge painting for you as well as for me. And get outside and paint. Paint with your friends, get critiques, and don't be intimidated by a white canvas. Okay, let's get to painting. All right. Hello, and welcome to part 2 of Diamond Ranch here in northern Colorado, upper Laramie River area. So, what we have here is everything's covered in paint. And what I did between 1 and 2 session here was that I figured out this configuration of buildings. I really roughed it in, really rough. And designed these darks and lights on the hills. It's basically hill 1, 2, and 3. The mountains are in the farthest back. Worked differently, kind of a gray-green in front, kind of a green here with a little bit more permanent green in it. And the sky, I just put a very light variation between whites and cerulean. But my challenge right now is to start balancing these things and getting some punch out of it, at the same time balancing it. Right now everything's kind of blah. Not too strong, not too weak. It's not, it's just kind of all the stuff's in the middle. I want to try to get some richer colors in this. And let's start with the sky, okay? So we will start mixing. Cobalt, cobalt, a bit of viridian, white. So I'm going to come up with a design that's a little bit more interesting than this, can't quite see what's, going on here. So I'm going to come in with more blues and reduce the size of the clouds and have more sky. I'm going to have kind of a darker mixture to the right and a lighter mixture to the left. Okay, let's get started. A number 6 rosemary 2025. A little stiff. Let me get her working for me. Get a little ultra in there too. Boy, I put a little too much ultra in there. Yeah, that'll work it. Oh, I need more white. Excuse me. White. Should have these things already out before I start, and I apologize. There we go. And I'm going to put a little bit on top of the mountains in some places. A little bit of cerulean, a little bit of ultra blue, going in a little bit more cautiously this time so I don't screw up my mixture like I just did. So when you make a tree or sky or something with combinations between darks and lights, I try to make one more dominant. I think the problem with my first attempt at this was that I had equal sky and equal cloud. And they were both kind of soft in value, maybe between a 4 and a 7. So as you can see, I'm really kind of coming in here and making darker darks. I gotta turn off the air conditioner, excuse me. Too much background noise. There it goes. Sorry about that, my apologies. And I'm going to have more sky and less cloud over on the far right. I know that's pretty rough, but I'm going to get back and look at the design and figure out how much more design work I need to do. All right, let me get some viridian in this mixture. Viridian helped out just a little bit. That was nice. And in some parts it's going to be hard to see what's the difference is between clouds and sky, because in some of this I'm going to fade it out a little. And to do that, I'm going to start with a bigger brush to soften up the edges and get these hard strokey things out of the way. Sorry for my back in the way. Now that's pretty rough, but I'm getting the idea. First thing is get your design where you're happy with it. Now, I like the design a lot better now, and I will start working on some variation between sky on the bottom and sky on the top. So I'm adding more viridian and titanium white to the bottom. And now let's add some white to this. I'm going to clean this brush as thoroughly as I can with the contamination in it. Squeeze it real hard, go to white, and I'm going to work some of the whites a little stronger. Just like a house painter, I'm going to be using the side of this brush quite a bit. When I was working down here, though, on these buildings, I was using the point, the tip of the brush. And I'm making some connection with these fellows over here. Let me bring some of the white right down through the mountains. Again, this is designed, so let me get back and look. Oh, I think it's coming along pretty good. But I think we need more white. How do I determine that? It just looks kind of dull, so white is going to be one side of the color contingent, so let's go ahead and work on that a little bit more. And again, let's soften and get some, before I do that, let's get some stronger sky color right up in here. Stronger sky color. I need lighter green down here too. So let's go back to Viridian and white. White, white. That's what I'm looking for. You can see I'm putting on thicker paint now, and now it's time to soften and get out of the sky, because we need to do more balance down below. Okay, doing my brush cleaning, and let's pick up our mixtures, which are turning rather thin anyway in the on a palette. More white. Here we go. I try to get the excess off the top of my tubes when after I squeeze it out, so I don't have that big pile of crud on the bottom of my lid here, the cap. All right. We have 17 minutes left, and let me do a little softening. Softening, please. Softening the blues. There we go. And because I want to work on top of this later, I'm going to make sure I keep it thin. And now I'm even softening it even more by flattening my connoisseur palette knife right on top of the mixture. And spreading out the edges a little bit. That's not too bad. I think we can do better, and we will. But I think for, laying it down for base, that's pretty good so far. I may have overdone it with the blue-green, but we will leave it alone for now. Now, I think we need to crisp out our whites here in the mountains. What I mean by that is they're a little weak, and I want to strengthen them with some titanium and just a touch of cerulean, just a touch. Boy, that was a big touch. Okay, now we're coming in with just a little bit here of, there we go. Now I need to get in there sometime when we're getting to the point of we need to do detail, but I want to get the right value here, and I think I need to increase the size of some of these mountains. So that's what I'm doing with this almost pure white with a little bit of cerulean in there. And you can see it's really saying, hey, I'm here and I want you to pay attention to me. I'm part of this painting. All right, I'm getting back to judge the value, and it shows up very nicely, but I think I better do a little bit more work here. It needs to be pointed. And there's some snow here in the foreground mountains. Just a little bit. This is the end of May up there in North Park, so North Park's, I don't know, about 7,500 feet. So snow stays pretty late up there. I have to say some of the prettiest fall days are there, found in October up there with the cottonwoods changing along the river. Oh, it's beautiful. Now this blue here just seems a little too gray. So let me get some ultra. What do we have here? Let's just get some ultra in this. And white. Ultra, white. And, oh, put that on, yes. Yes, and I think I need to make this go up and down in a few places. It kind of really goes up in a few places and then down and up again. I think I put a little bit too much white on there. Let me pick some of that up. And continue on. What a nice blue. Because the reference I have is more elongated and this is more of a square, even though it's an 18 by 24, I've had to make the decision to make more sky or more foreground. In this case, I decided to make more sky because, well, if you're in Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, skies are really pretty. And that's part of the ball game around here. Let me see if some of this color that I just made might help us out up in here. Might use a little bit of, why not? Don't have much left. Add some white to it. And let's try some down in here. See, I'm not wasting my time. I'm just, you know, if I want to be delicate, I'll wait till I do detail. Right now I'm locking in and I'm balancing stuff, so cover some territory and we will get to detail. It doesn't mean you have to slop things on, but you can move along. Let me soften that with a brush. I think I'm using this, something from Hobby Lobby here. Wispy clouds, that's what we have, wispy clouds. I was experimenting with this with my last 18 by 24, which was Cedar Cove. And yeah, kind of liked it. All right, when I got back, this seems a little dark, so let me lighten that up just a little bit. I'll see if I can do it with my big guy here. And that might do it. So we're making value judgments. Shapes here I think are okay in the right place. A shape problem always jumps up later, but not always, but it seems to do so. But try to catch them early if you can. And I'll soften that just by running that over that way. That's a little too hard right there. Oh, these big brushes are hard to clean, but at least I'll get some turpentine, or some Gamsol in it right now to, keep it moist till I can clean it. All right, let's keep moving down here. And take a look at my time. 8 minutes. Let's see what we can do in here. And what I see is, I'm going to do the old typical mixture of, I think I'm going to use some Hansa Deep and some blue for creating the green for the trees. That's a little too exotic, so I'll knock it down just a little bit with some transparent oxide red. Uh-oh. No big deal. When I use my phone for my timer, I have to keep it on, and there's sometimes I can get a call. Sorry about that. I think I need to make that a little lighter, so just mixing up some of that sky color in it to lighten it up a little. And so far it's working. Okay, let's get out of the way so you can see it. As you go farther to the left, there's less trees. And then there's some right up on top too. All right, I think it's okay for now. Now there's also aspen trees in there, so we're going to have to get some permanent green and some gray. And we are mixing a different kind of green around the bases of some of the trees. And I do have some down in here too. and a whole bunch of them down in here. There's more aspen trees down to the left. Oh, I wish I had some air conditioning now. I think we're starting to. We're at the end of June here, and we're starting to pick up some warm stuff here in Colorado. Now we need a sage, a light sage color for this area. It's not too different from the value I have down here for my base. Let's see if I can mix it with anything I have. I had a little blue cobalt to it. Get my brush out of the way. I'm going to add some gray and now lightener for maples. And just a little bit more permanent. I think more blue. This time cobalt. Cobalt. It's got to be a lighter value, so I'm going to add some white now. And now let's try it. Now it seems to be a lighter value. Okay, time to apply the product. Have faith in your mixture. You can always scrape it off. Nice thing about oil painting. That's why they got palette knives. I added just a little bit more titanium white to the mixture as I'm getting closer to the right. This row of dark here is I believe it's the Laramie River on the side of their property. There's a bunch of cottonwoods and all kinds of flora and fauna down there. Let me get back and check that value. So, looks good. I like it. I'm going to put some of that in, soften some of this stuff in here. Just going to thin out my brush. Thin by, I put a little turp in it. Then I ran it through the dark. Okay. A little softer, okay, still working. Hope I didn't take too much off. All right, let's move down to the river and get some of that going here. So with that, we're going to go ultra, yellow ochre, Hansa medium, yellow ochre, permanent, and white. I went a little too light with the white Hansa. Let's try that. I think a little darker would help. Boy, I used up my blue already. All right. Ultra blue. There we go. And the mixture, please. I think that's what I'm looking for. And now I'm going to be using a number 4 long flat series 279, a little softer flat. Love these. Okay. We are coming to an end, and we did a lot of balance. So what I'm going to do off camera, probably between now and number 3, is start down here with, is it too light, is it too dark, and work my buildings a little closer in the way of getting my greens right up close, getting some more darks in those buildings, and probably working my foreground trees and bushes more. So that's what I'm going to be working on between now and when we come back. Alrighty, I'm going to bring this to an end. Thank you so much for coming to part 2 for Diamond Ranch. I appreciate you very much for being here. Alright, keep painting. Bye-bye.